Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Jaden, aka Halftime Hoopin'. We back, we live, we litty, and NBA free agency has been going crazy thus far. We've seen a lot of new signs, a lot of people, new faces, and new places. I might as well just say a lot of teams making big moves. You know, my team. I'll get into that too a little bit, but my team, we doing some stuff right now. He's been going crazy. The Bulls been going crazy. The Knicks been doing everyone's been making a lot of moves so far. So today, I figured since most of the bigger signings have already happened, so I figured I would do a ranking every team's free agency so far. Unless there's some future signings or trades that happen during free agency that like move the needle for a certain team, I'll redo the video. But for now, I'm just ranking the every team's free agency so far. So first, we're gonna do the tier list style video. So let me pull that up in a second. All right, so here we are. But first, before I even start in this, as always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate the support. I think we've hit 50 subs, or we're just about to hit it. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. But yeah, NBA tier list, and then I have the every reported free agency tab open as well, so I can flip back and forth as I'm going along. But yeah, first team we'll start off with is it's in alphabetical order. So it's the Atlanta Hawks, and they brought back Trae Young on the max, re-signed John Collins, Gorgie Jang, and Solomon Hill. Did the Trae Young extension's good? Lock him down now. I think it was he can get up to 200 mil, something like that, so that's good. Bringing John Collins back is pretty big. He was good for them in the playoffs. I like that move. Bringing Gorgie Jang is decent. He's a decent backup big for the Hawks, so that's nice. And then Okongwu won't be. I think won't be for the start. I don't think he got injured, so that's decent. And then Solomon Hill, I don't really care for Solomon Hill. If you know, you know. But yeah, I would put the Hawks probably at like. I mean, they didn't really make any moves. They just brought people back. So I guess I would put this at a C for now. I don't see. I think there's only be like one or two teams in S, a couple in A, and then B, and then I don't think anyone's had like a completely garbage free agency unless they just didn't sign or draft anyone. I'm including draft and technically the draft is in free agency, so I'm gonna include that. So like when I get to teams like the Rockets or stuff, they'll get a good grade even though they haven't signed anyone. Boston Celtics. All they've done is sign Enes Kanter back, so that's and they got rid of Evan Fournier, and they haven't really done much. So for that, honestly, the Celtics are gonna be a D team. I guess maybe should I put it in F tier? Nah, I'll keep it a D. I'll keep it a D. And then Brooklyn Nets brought back Blake, signed Patty Mills, brought in Bruce Brown, brought back Bruce Brown, and signed James Johnson. These are all solid players for the team. Nice. Mostly, I think Patty Mills got the mid-level, and I believe that all the other ones are maybe on minimums. But yeah, they get some nice depth here. Bringing Blake back is nice. Patty Mills is a good backup point guard. And Bruce Brown was solid for them last year. And James Johnson has always been a decent power forward. So I'll put this in the B tier for the Brooklyn Nets. And for the Charlotte Hornets, they traded Vontae to the Pelicans. For I think they got a first in return, and they signed Ish Smith. That's not really that big, but they did get James Bouknight in the draft, or Bouknight, how do you say his name? And I believe Kai Jones, which are pretty good selections for that. So, like I said, I'm going to include draft in part of free agency. So I guess we could take that into consideration. It'd be a B for the Charlotte Hornets. Next, Chicago Bulls, like I said, mentioned earlier in the intro, they did a lot of stuff. Signed DeMar DeRozan with a sign trade from the Spurs. Signed Lonzo Ball. Signed Alex Caruso, who I'm gonna miss dearly with my Lakers. Traded Daniel Tice, and they got Tony Bradley as well, which I think is the most recent one. So yeah, I think low key, I might put them in the S tier for now, and then wait till after. Yeah, I'm gonna put them in the S tier for now. They've killed free agency so far, so I'm gonna put them in the S tier for now. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers, they signed Jared Allen to the extension, and they drafted Evan Mobley. Just off of that, I think that's worthy of at least a B rating for the Cavs, maybe A. I might adjust some of these at the end, but for now it'll be a B for the Cavs. Mavericks, their offseason's been pretty eh. They brought back Tim Hardaway Jr., which is pretty good, a 4-year. I wanted his $72 million. Re-signed Boban, which he's not going to play like meaningful minutes or anything. Sterling Brown's is his goal and stretches. Reggie Bullock is a good shooter for the Mavericks. So I mean, it's a pretty decent overall one, but like I'll probably put them at like C or maybe like the front of C for now. Onto the Denver Nuggets, they brought back Austin Rivers. They signed Jeff Green. They brought back Will Barton, and they brought back JaMychal Green. These are all pretty good. Once again, Jeff Green, pretty good role player. Austin Rivers was good for them last year. Will Barton is pretty good too. JaMychal Green, decent. So I rate this like towards like the lower end of B for now. Now onto the Pistons. They didn't draft. The Nuggets didn't draft. Yeah, they didn't get anything like important. Like, okay. And then to the Pistons, signed Corey Joseph, which is whatever. Signed Kelly Olynyk, which is whatever. And then they signed Trey Lyles, which is whatever. But they drafted Cade Cunningham, so forget that alone. I think that just puts them in the B for that. So I'm gonna, like I said, draft is included for me. So yeah, onto the Warriors though. Brought back Steph Curry for the 4-year max extension. Signed Otto Porter and signed Bielitsa, which I didn't actually know until now. So the Steph Curry obviously bringing back major key. The Otto Porter Jr. is a really good role player when he's actually playing. He's injured a lot, but when he's actually playing, he's very productive. And Bielitsa, very good shooter. He's good. And they also got Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. So low key, I'm gonna put them at the front of B, with potential to be moved to A if I revise. Next to the Rockets, they signed and trade Daniel Tice to the Bulls. I don't know what they got back. It doesn't necessarily say. I mean, they brought back David Nwaba on a 3-year deal. That's whatever. But they got Jalen Green, Josh Christopher, and Usman Garuba, which was a pretty good draft for them. So I'm gonna put them in the B tier with that. Definitely not A tier, B tier. And then onto the Pacers, who drafted Chris Duarte, I think. Then they brought back TJ McConnell, signed Torrey Craig, might have already been there. And they got Kiefer Sykes, who I'm not familiar with that name. I'm sure I will get to know who he is later on. But yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. I'm gonna put them in the C. Nothing like game-changing necessarily happened for them, but it wasn't terrible either, so. Next for the Clippers, all they've done is brought back Nicholas Batum, but he was pretty good for them, so that's pretty decent for me. Kawhi technically hasn't re-signed because I know he opted out, but I feel like he's going to come back. It's just a matter of when. So I'm not really worried about that, but just bringing in Batum, I don't think they have like tons of cap space or anything. But bringing back Batum was pretty decent for them, so I'll put them at like second in C for now. And then on to the Lakers. I think they're going to join the Bulls as the other S-tier team. Sign Melo, sign Dwight, sign Trevor Ariza, sign Malik Monk, sign Wayne Ellington, sign Ken Davis, sign Kendrick Nunn, and brought back THT. They just filled out the roster basically, and traded for Russell Westbrook too. So for that, I feel like I got to put them in the S-tier along with the Bulls. I guess I'll put the Lakers first for that, but they're both S tier at the end of the day. And on to the Grizzlies. They haven't signed anyone, though. So I guess I can't really rate their free agency. They haven't signed anyone. But they did draft Zaire Williams, which was a okay pick. And then they probably got something further along, but I don't fully remember the draft. But I mean, if they didn't sign anyone, I kind of have to put them in the D tier. So yeah, he might be another S tier team, but for now, I'll keep them in A. So they got Kyle Lowry with the sign and trade. Gave Jimmy Butler that huge extension. Will he'll be getting paid $50 million when he's like 36, I think, which is, I mean, I don't know. You had to bring him back, so I mean, I guess it's fine with that in mind. But then Duncan Robinson, 5-year, $90 million deal. Signed PJ Tucker, brought back Gabe Vincent, Max Strauss, Dwayne Dedmon, and signed Marquise Morris. Pretty successful free agency, I like to think. Kyle Lowry is going to be good for them, and then bringing back Duncan was big. And signing PJ Tucker was pretty good too. He'll be a nice role play for them. I imagine they run Lowry, Duncan, Jimmy, PJ, and Bam. I would imagine would be the starting lineup, which is a pretty good starting lineup. So for now, I'll put them in A, but I might revise and put them in S. So on to the Bucks now. They haven't done much, but they don't have like tons of money either. Bringing back Bobby Portis was very solid for them. He was good for them in their championship run. Semi Ojeleye signs. He's not very good, but you know it is what it is. Doris Hill's planning on returning to the Bucks. I don't know if this is official, I guess, because there's no like terms for the deal or whatever. But good backup point guard coming back for that. I'll put them in either the front of C or like the second of C or the end of B. Let's see. I'll put them in. I'll put them in the end of B for right now. Onto the Timberwolves, who haven't done anything. They haven't signed anyone. They didn't draft anyone. So I'm going to put them in the D. Actually, they did trade Ricky Rubio, but I don't remember exactly what it was for. But that wasn't too big of a deal for that. So I'm going to put them in D tier. Onto the Pelicans, who have been making moves. Obviously trading Lonzo Ball, which they got Thomas Satoransky and Garrett Temple back in return, which they're decent role players, I guess. Then they drafted Troy Murphy, I know, and then I don't know the other picks once again, and then they signed trained Devontae Graham, who's a good shooter. That's it. He's a kind of a chucker. I think he shot like 38% from the field last season. He's a good 3-point shooter, but when he's not hitting those threes, there's not much else that he really does. And then Didi Lazuda, I don't know who that is, but they brought it back in a 4-year deal. So for the Pelicans, it's okay, I guess. I'll put them in the C tier. That seems very C tier to me. And then on to the Knicks, who might be the second A tier team. They signed Kemba Walker after a buyout. They signed Evan Fournier, brought back Derrick Rose, learned so well out of Burks and Taj Gibson, and then they drafted. They got Quentin Grimes, and they got someone else. But yeah, Knicks have a very good free agency, and they did pretty good in the draft as well. So for that, I'm gonna put the Knicks in the A tier. A lot of people are clowning them for the Fournier and like the giving Derrick Rose a lot of money, but I feel like, I mean, your value is what the market pays you. So Emma Fournier for 4 years, I think it was 78. It really isn't that bad when you see Duncan Robinson getting 90 mil and you see Tim Hardaway Jr. getting 72, who I would argue Emma Fournier is better than. So taking that into perspective, it's not even that bad with his deal. And Derrick Rose 3 for 43, I think, around there. Not a terrible deal either. And then there's a pretty good defender. Alberts is a good spark play, and Todd Gibson is just there for, I guess, veteran support. But yeah, Knicks at A. On to the Thunder now. We only have a couple teams left. Bringing back Shannon Mack and signing Mike Muscala. And then they drafted Josh Giddey. They drafted too many people, so I'm not going to go down all of them, but mainly Josh Giddey was the biggest one that they got. And then bringing back Shea. That's pretty decent, all things considered. I'll probably put them at like the front of C. Or not, I'll put them second in C. They didn't do anything too crazy. Some people think the Josh Giddey pick was a reach. It wasn't a terrible pick by any means. But yeah, that'll be it for the Thunder. I guess C is probably a fair grading for their free agency overall. Magic, Robin Lopez, that's not really that good, but they did good in the draft with Jalen Suggs, and they got Franz Wagner. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So that they did a pretty good draft. So for that alone, I'll put them at either the start of C or the end of B. I'll see if I fix anything at the end. And then on to Philly. I know they brought Andre Drummond, which is I'm glad someone took him out. He's not on my Lakers anymore. And then they bring back Furk and then sign George Niang. George Niang, pretty good role player. Furkan, pretty decent role player too. And then Andre Drummond is a negative at this point in his career and in the league. So honestly, I mean, they might be in the D tier. I'll put them down to C for now. Onto the Suns, they signed Chris Paul to a 4-year, $120 million deal. He'll be getting paid the big bucks when he's old, but I feel like they didn't really have a choice but to pay him. So it's not really that bad of a deal at this stage. And their bring back Cameron Payne was really good. He was hooping in the playoffs. He was pretty good for the season too. So it's nice that he's got a good backup point guard option. JaVale McGee, solid center. Then Adlon Nader came back for a 2-year deal. I'll put them at. And then their draft wise, I don't think they really did anything. Yeah, they didn't. They traded their pick, I believe, to the Nets. So I won't put them at like front of C. Yeah, front of C. And then Portland Trailblazers bringing back Norm Powell. I think the same kind of deal as Duncan Robinson, 5-year, $90 million. Signing Cody Zeller and Tony Snell. Those were ass signings. Bringing back Norm Powell was pretty big. So I'll put them with the C tier. A lot of C tier teams. A lot of these teams didn't necessarily do too much. I might bump the Hawks up just to bring John Collins back and signing Trey. Are pretty big things for their team. And then, yeah, well, let me just get to the finish before I decide to move people places. And the Kings bring back Rashawn Holmes, which I like. He's a very underrated big. He's very solid. Bringing Alex Len, or maybe bringing back Alex Len and Mo Harkless, and then drafted Davion Mitchell, which a lot of people aren't necessarily big fans of the pick, which makes sense. They already had De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton, so like, why did they draft another guard? And he's not very tall either. So I guess, man, a lot of teams just have had average free agency so far. I'm gonna put them in the C tier again. And then onto the Spurs. Signed Zach Collins, Doug McDermott, Bryn Forbes, and Jock Landale, who I don't know who that is. Those are their signings. And then the draft, they got Josh Primo, I think, who a lot of people said was a riser in this draft. He wasn't projected to go that high, so it's interesting for that. And again, I don't think this is like a spectacular free agency either. So I think it's going along in the C tier as well. Probably shows the end of it. Yeah. And then Raptors, Jazz, and Wizards are the last three. So Raptors, Goran Dragic heads to Toronto, Gary Trent returns, and Kyle Lowry heads to Miami, which I think is the same thing as the Goran Dragic. Probably connected. And then Sam Decker returns to NBA with Raptors. He's not really, he's whatever. And then, yeah, and then they also drafted Scotty Barnes, which was a nice selection for them. So for all things considered with the Raptors, I'll probably put them in B tier. Like right towards the end of B. Actually, no, I'll put them towards like the front of C. I think their moves were better than the Blazers and everyone behind them. So yeah. And then last two teams, Jazz and Wizards. Jazz bring back Mike Conley on a good deal, and then sign Rudy Gay and sign Hassan Whiteside, who was just a backup center for Rudy, who was just, he's kind of just a worse Rudy. They kind of play the same. He's just a worse version of him. And then Rudy Gay, good role player. Mike Conley bringing him back was pretty crucial for the team. Also, they wouldn't have had a point guard. So for that, I'll put them in probably the end of B. Yeah, I think the end of B will be suffice for them. And then Wizards, obviously trading Russell Westbrook away and getting back Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell. They drafted, who did they draft? Let me just look up real quick. Wizards draft picks 2021. I think they got Isaiah Jackson, and they got Corey Kispert, who is really solid. So Wizards, Loki, I feel like I'm being harsh on these teams, but for now, Corey Kispert, trading Westbrook, and getting Spencer Dinwiddie. That's a pretty solid offseason. Might be better than the Suns. I'll put them right here for now. That's gonna be actually let me retool this first, just in case I want to change anything. But yeah, give me a second. I think I'm gonna keep it, honestly. I might as well just change this to ranking everyone's off season so far and not everyone's free agency, because it makes more sense if I make it everyone's off season, if I'm gonna take the draft and the trades that technically weren't a part of free agency included into this. So now let me just change all of that, and the title will be rank everyone's off season, not free agency. But yeah, I think unless I'm just being too harsh on the teams here, none of the teams, like a lot of these teams are in like the C's here, because none of their off-seasons have really jumped out at me or anything. The teams that are in B, A, and S have made pretty solid moves going forward. Maybe actually let me bump the Suns up just for bringing back Chris Paul. No, I'm gonna keep it. Let me stand my ground and not try to change anything or put things and then just put things in random places. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.